Okay, it's actually gonna work. It made me re-put the stream key in, even though it's the same as earlier. It's weird.
It says we're
At least it
live.
connected this time.
Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
I got it.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to For We Are Many. How's it going, y'all?
Good, good.
Pretty good.
Vibing is
Uh,
the
it's
response
Monday
I give
again.
everyone when they ask me that question.
Monday,
I just don't know
Monday.
how to answer.
Remember that song, Monday, Monday?
I do.
I never I a lot of the time don't know how to answer like sometimes with small talk. Like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So like a lot of the time I'll just go, I'm surviving. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing bad. Like just if anyone gets a bit concerned, no, I just might not know how to answer to the question at the time.
So there's been a lot to talk about, I guess, in the last couple of weeks. Because last week we were on TikTok, and it was just kind of more of a free-form conversation than like a current events thing. So there's some things to talk about from last week and this week. But like, I guess I just want to kick this off right out the gate with the planet is trying to kill us because we are killing it. Like hurricane season started 3 days ago, right? There was already 5 tropical waves being tracked by the National Hurricane Center. 3 of those were in existence before the official start of hurricane season. Like we are probably looking at a crazy hurricane season this year. As we shift from El Nino to La Nina, the trade winds are gonna really hammer us, I think.
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me as much as climate change has driven these shifts further to the extremes every year, increasingly for the last few years. Folks better be prepared. This is not going to be a pretty hurricane season.
Thing is the last 5 years have been extraordinarily worse than the 5 years previously for climate disaster. Now coronavirus gave us a break and we saw massive decreases in pollution that actually saw already restorations in the environment. Like it's that simple to get a start. It's not that simple to finish, like to complete the end of all the devastation we've caused, but just us stopping, driving our cars around for 6 months was enough to make the earth go. And so, like what we're in is we're in a very extreme situation now. The earth has gone up by that 2 degrees that fucking 10 years ago they were telling us would cook us all to death. So, now it's never as simple as this temperature here absolutely will. It's the this point we're all cooked to death. We do not know the full complexities as to what's going on. We know that we will be cooked to death if we don't stop it, but there is stuff we can still do to stop it. None of the misanthropic fucking doomeristic shit. We gotta fucking do it to stop it. Even if it's supposedly fucking futile, I don't care for that doomeristic shit because you couldn't know. And like being Mr. Wise Guy isn't gonna cut it for a situation like this that needs you to be a bit hot-footed. And so we've got to be hot-footed in combating the use of the things that destroy our environment, and not just greenhouse gases and fossil fuels and stuff. It's bigger than that because it seems everyone focuses on that. It's the greenhouse gases and the ozone layer. But what about all of the other natural disaster shit we cause, like all the fucking shit we dump in the ocean, all the shit we dump in landfills, all the stuff we burn and melt? Like, it's awful.
So, like, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I wanted to let you, like, I can just barely hear you.
Fucking Zoom.
I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's mic connection or.
I assumed that her mic was just too far away, to be honest. But
It
yeah,
might be.
The
you
mic is
are really
built
quiet.
into a laptop.
Oh, I see.
There we
I
go. Now
see.
you can get like it's like watching like those really horrible like 4:3 close-up videos now.
Yeah.
I'm like a Fallout talking head. No, I do not have any jet to give you.
All right. So
Yeah, on that tip of like things we could do to actually reverse the situation, it's about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, a lot of scientists from all around the world gathered together with so-called leaders of countries, um, to let them know that we have a very short window of time here to actually hit zero carbon emissions, or we're going to see catastrophic loss of life, like extinction level shit. That window is 10 years. And every one of those so-called leaders of various countries around the globe, their arguments in return were, but what about our profit margins and our GDP? We need to keep going with the fossil fuel bullshit. And it's like, fuck money. It's a fucking fake man-made conceptual thing that's merely supposed to be used to exchange, for labor and goods. Fuck your profit margins. There's no amount of imaginary fucking monopoly money that's worth destroying the planet and having a catastrophic loss of life. Means nothing if there's nowhere to fucking live.
right.
I mean, what's it? Oh, do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna like, broadly mention a few things that have happened in the last 5 years, like the wildfires in Canada, wildfires in fucking Siberia, like places that have had literally been frozen for almost 10,000 years hit 90 degrees in the last 2 years.
Right.
We had 3 days of 40 degrees centigrade weather, which is about 90 degrees. And like that killed about 6,500 people or something like that in Europe. Might be a bit less, might be a bit more, like give or take 1,000. That's a lot of fucking people to kill in 3 days, and that's Western Europe alone. It's not Eastern Europe as well. That's just the West. And it's not meant to get 40C around here. The UK, we're in the same place as like Denmark and southern Norway for fucking temperature. Like that's where we're meant to be. So we're meant to be quite cold. You know, we're meant to get a lot of snow. We're not as cold as a lot of the Scandinavian places, but we used to get a lot of snowfall. But because it's hotter in the summer and we have salt water around us, we just don't build up much snowfall anymore because of all the water that's getting evaporated around us. We get a lot more salt rainwater that is, so all the snowfall is not forming properly in the sky. That's joyful.
That's
But
joy.
climate change ain't real though, right?
No, you see,
Right,
it
or you look
snowed in
at
the middle.
cities like Boston.
You see, it
Boston got
snowed
snow for
in
the first time in 4 years this winter.
it snowed in Brisbane, a place that never gets below like 15 degrees centigrade, which is like that's like in the 60s of Fahrenheit. Like, you know, it never gets cold enough to snow in Brisbane, but they'll be like, it snowed in Brisbane, so how's there any global warming? Is that normal? Does it normally snow in the second hottest county of Australia?
Yeah, actually, you just reminded me of something that I read
It's frozen.
a few days ago, right? There was a hailstorm in Texas, right? So like the storm blew in and the temp went from the 90s Fahrenheit to the 40s Fahrenheit, and they got like 2 feet of hail, not snow, not rain, hail. That's not fucking normal either. Like they
There was something
literally
similar
brought
that
in
happened.
snowplows to move the hail.
There was something similar that happened. There was I know it happened in Florida when my mate's mom was there, and the hail was like boulders. Like, what the fuck is going on in Florida? It's a place that's like near the equator and is pretty fucking hot, but then it just decide, when it hails, it pours. Like, fuck. When it hails, it nails because they fucking weigh such a fucking ton. They'll nail a human into the ground like you fucking whacking a hammer on the back of a fucking flat.
Right. Gabby is in the comments on Facebook and she said, I'm genuinely scared for hurricane season here in Florida due to how hot the weather has been getting due to the rise of temperature in the water due to global warming. And I'm actually glad that she brought that up because I haven't looked at sea temperatures since winter, and this was the warmest winter on record. And last year, all 12 months were the warmest month on record. So actually, I want to see
I last saw them in
temperatures.
March for specifically Florida, and it was bad. Like, March was a pretty fucking hot month. Like, March kind of came punching, like, and swinging because it was kind of cold at the start of the month because the end of February was cold, and then like late March was just like, what the fuck? Getting like fucking 27 degrees. But that's like 73 Fahrenheit, I think.
I'm trying to launch this interactive sea temperature map from the, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, but of course it's a government website, so it's glitchy as fuck. Do you want to know what the temperature of the water is in Lake Superior, in the northern half of Lake Superior?
I'm curious.
38.3 degrees Fahrenheit.
38.3.
Lake Superior is a big cold bitch for those of you that have never.
Yeah. And am I hearing that right? Is that called Lake Superior? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, as in the biggest of the Great Lakes.
As in like all of the other Great
that
Lakes
name
that
has
fit
that name
inside it
has a
volume-wise.
fucking the Americans come up with it. I cannot think that they don't fucking stroke their ego in another way with that regard, if that's their thing. Like, because like hearing a whole lot of English that actually it's probably Latin, but like don't quote me. I don't know.
Wow. No wonder there's been so many. Whoa. Whoa. Glitchy. I should screen share this just to show why I'm saying whoa.
Yeah, that would help.
But yeah, Florida's been the litmus test of bad when it comes to
Oh my
sea
God.
temperatures.
This is the most annoying thing.
Also, sorry about the instability here with my shit. My phone overheated. Speaking of shit being too hot. So that's what booted me out and why I now have it sitting on an ice pack. Not very stable.
It won't let me like.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah, that water shouldn't be red.
hold
No, I
on.
need to open
I
this
opened up the
thing.
averages table because I want to see um so the average, God damn it. Okay, so June should be 79 degrees roughly. And as you see, it's a full everywhere in Florida because I don't know where that specific station is, but yeah, no, it shouldn't be this warm yet.
No.
Jesus. There we go. But yeah, I mean, this is why it's going to be a very active hurricane season. Plus, you have the trade winds moving, east to west. Last year, there was a bunch of wind shear from El Nino that was basically, breaking up hurricanes that normally would have intensified. This year, we have the opposite of that. We're going to have trade winds feeding these, storm fronts. So, um, I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist by any means, but the water is very warm already.
Right. You know enough meteorology to look at that and go, wait a minute, this is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, we had a fucking tornado in the north of England recently. How often do you hear about England having tornadoes? We ain't in a tornado valley. There's like they can come to us sometimes, but it's not like we're necessarily far away from like anywhere where tornadoes are made. The fucking the North Sea is a very violent little bit of water. It's probably something to do with the existence of the Vikings is my only excuse I can come up with. I'm gonna blame it on them because like I am still at least part English, so I have to like scapegoat like half of my issues on the Vikings and half of my issues on the French. But anyway, the what's it? Weather's just terrifying at the moment. It freaks me the fuck out. And like summer's coming. Do you know what? People been calling it summer yet? You've been calling it summer? It's not summer. Anyone calling it summer right now? It's not summer. Summer isn't until the fucking 23rd of June. If anyone's calling it summer right now, you have been fooled by the big oil. Big oil has been getting into your brain with the solar rays that they put in place on purpose to get in your mind.
Oh
I
my
sound like a
God.
conspiracy.
No, I mean, in the US, a lot of people consider summer Memorial Day to Labor Day. So,
It's like how
Yeah.
people think September's autumn, and it's like, well, September is autumn if you mean like the 21st of September. But there's a whole
right.
lot of September that isn't quite autumn.
Right. Going by the equinoxes, technically you're right. But tell Mother Nature, because this bitch has it like 103, 104 out here today, and I'm fucking melting.
Well, to be fair, that's one of the problems with like white people and like going every place must have a thing because for like the North in America, or what they call the North, which is usually the Northeast. Although if you actually map the map of the world properly, it is the North. So I guess the Americans have won this little quip of geography. I'll have you next time. But the what's it? The North, that does fit with European like seasonal dynamics. It's essentially the same as Scotland in a lot of places, and then the same as like French, like South France and other places. It's really dynamic. Like you could map half of Europe onto the north of America. It's got a really dynamic weather structure. But then you got Arizona. Arizona has a similar weather structure to a lot of places that have massive deserts, and that is summer for most of the year. And then it has this almost like unique season to it that I wouldn't say any of the other seasons describe it. Summer doesn't describe it, autumn doesn't describe it, winter doesn't really describe it, although it'd actually be the closest one in my opinion, because there isn't really an autumn, there isn't really a browning process. Green in Arizona is fucking tough bitch, and no winter's gonna kill it. Like, so it has its own unique season that no one's really given a name to other than the natives, and I like so little people have ever bothered to ask. I don't know what their term is for it, but they're gonna have one because if like if some fucking like settler crackers can notice the temperature difference between like Arizona winter and Arizona of the rest of the time, anyone else is gonna notice it.
Yeah, you're right though. Winter doesn't really describe it. Winter in Arizona is like I
50 to 55 degrees during the day, which does still get cold once your blood's thinned the fuck out where you're acclimated to this environment. So you still get bundled up. Like, I still wear the same fucking thermals in the winter here as I did at home in Michigan.
Yeah, my nan will come from Australia to England in the summer, and like it'll be like a bit windy, but it'll be like 20 C, and she'll be like, "It's cold." I'm like, "I'm fucking sweating, nan. Like, I don't know what you're getting at here." Like,
yeah. Um you brought up Arizona though. I don't know if it's still going on because I don't see much Arizona news anymore, but like a few years ago, it was getting so hot for so long in the summer in Arizona that the saguaro cactuses that have lived in that desert environment for fucking thousands of years were dying.
they were drying up, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's crazy because like those fucking things are huge. I doubt it because I think that they're like unique to the American Southwest. But have you ever seen a saguaro cactus other than in like the Looney Tunes?
I have. I've seen them in fucking like films and things. And what's it? I know someone who lived up in Phoenix, and it wasn't a Sahara cactus, but it was still a native cactus to Arizona. So I've seen a few different Arizonan wildlife. I've also seen Nevadan wildlife. And if you know anything about Nevada, it's basically like what if Arizona crept up into the arsehole of the North, like west of the Southwest. Um, like it is basically like what if Mormons invented their own Arizona because they were jealous of Arizona. um but Mojave is like, Mojave might be a pretty desolate desert, but the Sonora gets the win by being the second hottest desert in the world and the desert that gets the most rainfall. Like, what a way to fucking, I'd say torture people, but that rainfall's probably blessed because of like dry heat sucks when it's so dry that it's hell. But my English brain is just like, what a way to torture people, heat and humidity. What a fucking asshole. Like, this God guy must be a right prick.
And it's different in Arizona. I mean, like here when we get a rainstorm, right? Like it's 100% humidity, right? In Arizona, when it's raining, it's like 30% humidity. Like you're so used to it being so dry that that 30% humidity still feels like
It's like such a shock to your system. I was just putting my finger up, like I want to go next because
I
we
figured you would have some things to say. You're still there.
yeah, I wasn't trying to interrupt you or anything and stop your sentence mid sentence like that, though. I'm just like, I got
We
dibs
were
on
just
next.
like, yo,
Um,
you got
right.
the beat to
Like
drop.
it's already starting because we're heading into monsoon season right now, and this Thursday we have an extreme danger warning for the heat because it's going to be 110, and the humidity is going to hit 16%. And here, that is enough to drop your ass fucking dead. It actually is a relief when it gets up to 30 and rains because then you can stand in the rain and it might cool you off a little bit.
Yeah,
It'll at least be cooler than the cold water coming out of your fucking faucet, which
the steamy cold water. An Arizona special, but what's it with the Sonora though? Interestingly, the Sonora gets a lot more rain than Phoenix and all that do. Like I know Phoenix is not
Well,
like it's
Phoenix
not like
is
a
still in the Sonoran Desert,
it's
but yeah, Phoenix is like a heat island.
yeah,
So
Phoenix
Phoenix
is
gets
like
less rain because there's like a permanent high pressure system over
yeah,
it.
Phoenix is in some like weird part of the Sonora where it just doesn't act like the rest of it. It's like it's like Sonora's the second hottest desert and Phoenix is its fucking center point of terrorization.
call it
Um
Satan's asshole.
but yeah, no, because my comrade's in Phoenix right now and he's absolutely like sweltering.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder what the high in Phoenix was today, actually.
I don't know.
But
You're gonna
I'm Googling it. Don't worry.
Arizona is one of the most dangerous places to forget to wear your sunblock if you are like one of the Casper the Whitey ghost people. If you are cracker-tastic, make sure you fucking, put the paste on. Uh, I'm saying this from experience because I went out to the fucking protests and like, holy fuck. I mean, as you can see, you might not be hard to tell that I'm Irish. I look like I look fucking pale as shit on this TV. I'm like the whitest person here. Um, although that's a deception when it comes to being Irish. We're whiter than we look, but oh, we
you're
look
pink,
whiter than we
Thomas.
are. Sorry, I got it the wrong way around. Fucking hell, I sound like a dipshit. We look whiter than we are. Fucking. I guess it's the American Irish are whiter than they look. But the what's it? Fucking yeah, I burn like a motherfucker. Like holy shit. I went out to a protest and I fucking forgot to wear sunblock, like fucking tosspot I am. And like I mean, rather than being a cracker, I was crackling fucking pork, like fucking absolutely singed all up my arms and fucking all over my face, peeling like a fucking gone off banana.
Damn. Yeah, sunshine out here is dangerous for folks like you. Very dangerous.
I mean, rather than sunblock, you would be better off wearing loose fitting, like clothes that cover you.
Right.
Yeah, but I like need to be careful of overheating. That's the problem with the heat here. It's just not the climate for it. So like if you wear loose clothing, you'll just bake. Um,
Well, yeah, but in the desert, the loose clothing keeps the, you know, sun off of
oh
you.
yeah, in the desert, yeah, that's
Yeah.
dry heat as well. So it's the loose clothing's less of a danger as well. It's actually just more safe.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you were on about over
I
here
mean,
in England. I was
I
like,
wouldn't
no,
wear, I
that's like
wouldn't,
in a humid place, that'd be like suicide.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I was not gonna fucking wear, like a fucking bathrobe or something today outside. That's for sure. It was like 87 here today, and the humidity was up there.
But yeah, that's a weird hack. And also just trying to keep your head wet, which I know Zen already knows because I've already been watching her do it. Keeping especially this part of your head wet helps keep you cool. And one of the easiest, that's why like one of the biggest things they ever suggest you do when you're out in the desert is either put water, or realistically you should piss on it to save your water, and piss on your shirt and wrap it around your head so you have something wet on your head to keep your head cool.
And then you can smell super awesome. I
Yeah,
made my own
no,
perfume.
what's it like? A smell fit for Caleb Maupin. So I mean, like, you know, at least you'll have him on his on your side.
Oh my God. I don't want him on my side. Um, yeah, so
I don't know what to tell you. The
what's the
guy
next
loves
topic?
piss.
Somebody throw something out. What do we got?
I mean, Rafa. So what's it? You know, there was the slaughter on Rafa last week. And I mean, I went to a protest last week. There was an emergency protest on Elbit Systems around that time in response to that. And I actually like to talk about something that I was hoping I could have talked about at that place, but I kind of got I didn't get the chance to speak. There was a lot of speakers there, so it was a pretty tight shift. But you know, there's a whole sort of situation going on with a lot of this, and obviously this goes beyond just Elbit Systems, but it was definitely a good place to start in regards to this. And that's like the idea of, oh, we'll come 3 times a month is great. That is actually good work, but it's not enough. Like you know, great work doesn't can not be enough at the same time. It was actually someone at the protest said that, you know, like, we're both doing like amazing work and we're getting very far, but we're also not doing enough work, and there needs to be more. And so like my extension on that would be, yeah, and so if these encampments on these colleges work, why should that just be a college tactic? It seems kind of moronic to think that that the college people should do the encampments because they live on those campuses. No, they should do the encampments because it disrupts the way the whole shit's working. It throws everything into disarray. That's that's the point of doing the encampments. And so the like situation moving forward is we should be forming encampments outside Elbit Systems. If we're going to shut them down, fuck it. They won't be able to come to work any day of the week. Get the police to beat the shit out of us. It'll be on the 6 o'clock news. Let's see what that does to your fucking stock prices, motherfucker. You think businesses are going to think you're a sound company to invest in when this is what's going to be coming to your fucking door? People that won't leave and are going to cause trouble. Well, that's going to get in the way of deployments, and military companies, they want quick fucking turnaround. So they're not going to stick with that. And what about the cities? Block the fucking cities off. I don't want to hear this bullshit people say of, oh, you're going to piss off the workers and stuff. I'm sorry. Most working class people that I've actually come across have been pretty like decent about it. Like even when they're like driving off to do their own thing, they'll bib and they'll say hello and stuff. Like I don't think you're gonna piss off that many working class people. Do you know who you will piss off? The middle class. Do you know who I don't give a fuck about pissing off right now while a genocide's going on? The middle class. I want to appeal to them. I want them to come to our side, but I'm not going to fucking sit around and go, well, let's not do an encampment protest and block off these cities because we might piss off Mr. Smith and his fucking nuclear family. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to advertise the middle class anymore. I think they're as broken as us these days, but it's nice to think that they're actually getting on somewhere or somehow. But the, you know, jokes aside, the, fucking the whole like framework of it is we need to take over the towns and the cities.
Facts.
Yeah.
We need to take some lessons from unions like 100 to 120, 130 years ago and start shutting down lines. You know? Shut down the factories, shut down the railroads, shut everything the fuck down, get in their way, and block scabs from coming through too. Like, no, you're going to meet the workers' demands or you're not going to have a business, period. And if they don't want to meet the workers' demands, seize the business. Enough of the bullshit.
Yeah, but when we're talking about military contractors, that's a pretty big jump from where we're currently organized at.
I mean, yeah, it is.
I'm
It
not
definitely
I'm not disagreeing with the tactic, but we might want to start smaller.
there's gameplay. Hey, I didn't say go straight for, like the big weapons manufacturers, but the shops and factories where people are working building cars and stuff, that would be a good place to start. The
I
railroad,
mean,
good place
I
to
mean,
start.
we have been trying and successfully shutting down a big weapons manufacturer in the UK. So I mean, you can do that. We've shut down three of their facilities already. So
Right. And I'm not saying
I
don't
mean,
try to
you
shut
so
those down.
Well,
I
yeah,
am saying
I
that's
was
a
meaning specifically teasing them.
big
Oh
I
well, that's
mean,
But I
another
mean,
step forward. Yeah, we're not at that point, but we have shut several down yet. So
yeah, some of our comrades out in California have lately been shutting down or at least attempting to shut down what's the one the name of the company begins with an R if I remember right. Weapons
Raytheon,
Raytheon. I think that yeah, that's the one. That they were marching on a lot lately, trying to, get their production shut down because of the genocide. Um,
yeah.
so I mean, yes, by all means, march on them. As far as seizing though, you're gonna need like some of the conscientious dissenters from the military on your side for that. Be prepared. Do it intelligent. Plan well.
yeah, I I don't know. There has been like marches on not necessarily weapons manufacturers, but companies that invest in Israel here. But the problem is a lot of things are fractured and not very well sustained. Um, I mean, there has been some like really good work going on, but like it's all like small groups in different places, and they haven't like come together to like Cara was talking about, like fucking just have your encampment at this place rather than at the school, like that kind of thing. There
We all
hasn't been a
agree that this
coalescing
is
between schools really, in the way that you would hope. So, I mean, Connecticut, though, there's a lot of groups that I've seen on, at least on social media, that have been like doing sustained things. But here in Rhode Island, it's been like one-off marches.
and it's as well like these people would agree with us that the situation is more extremely dire than the menial tasks of our own lives, and it's like, well, why not take the risk? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's one of the best things that any of us could do would be to like be so willing to risk it all for Palestine that we're gonna like form an encampment and we won't go until they lock us up. Like, you can take me or fucking Mr. Policeman. That's the only way you're getting me away from here. Um, call him a fucking piggy. Or well, I like to call them Mosley's black shirts because like it gives me a little giggle, like because it's a nice little underhand way of calling them a bunch of fascist cunts. But um, so police officers here wear like full on police officers, the proper big boys in blue. They actually wear black, so it adds up in the end. We probably got that from the Americans, and it's actually technically a blue, but it's so fucking dark it might as well be black. It's like when people call purple its sort of color. I'm only joking.
Like, hey, don't fuck with my favorite color.
I love purple. I just knew it would make you go.
Like, excuse me.
Like, oh. But no, like I love color arguments because I actually usually don't care about half the stuff I say when I start them. Like I'll be going about how brown doesn't like really exist. It's just orange, but like I don't really fucking care. Believe in brown if you want to, but I'm gonna say it just to start the
Concentrated
argument.
orange. Good.
God damn. But what's it? But yeah, the situation in Rafa, like there's an emergency protest on tomorrow that if my health's not fucking with me, I'm hoping to go to as well. People need to look around. Look on fucking I'm in a prop mood, so I'm gonna fucking use my phone like a prop. You wanna be looking on you know, online on things like fucking, Telegram and WhatsApp and places like that. They'll be called things like Free Palestine or something. You should be able to find them to some degree in your area. They might have a Facebook page or an Instagram link to them, and just look around because there might be something like this going on in your area. Let me just drop my brightness more. Fucking camera is such a sensitive little fucker when it comes to like light. There we go. Now it's like chalkboard, like chalk on slate. But yeah, there might be something like that going on in your area. So like keep a lookout because like all the Palestinian organizations right now are like screaming out for emergency protests as much as possible. And this is still in response to Rafah and the continued terrorization that's going on there. Shit's getting absolutely fucking garish in fucking Palestine, more so than it already was. Like this is fucking, they're sweeping through with the death squad now after they've fucking bombed and torn through the rest of it. This is this is Nazi Germany 101. Couldn't fucking say it as anything else. Like there was actually I don't know if it still is the case now, but there was a point in the war, or well, genocide, I should say, fucking in this genocide where they fucking were killing more babies a day than fucking Hitler was in the death camps. Like, and oh, what, you go tell that to like some fucking normie person who's like not been like properly Palestine pilled on the situation, and they'll go on about how you're like shitting on the Holocaust or something, and it's like, no, they've just like managed to outpace Hitler on killing babies, and that is not something you want on your fucking like curriculum vitae, like
Yeah.
that's the fucking English way of saying a resume, or Roman if you really want to be funny about it. But
Yeah. And people don't get it till I point that part out right there, that that's why one of the many reasons why, including, it being a very racist, white supremacist, apartheid state and the whole nine yards, that Zionism is more akin to Nazism than anything. Period.
it's only more akin to Nazism than Judaism. Fucking hell.
Yeah, there's nothing about Zionism that stems from Judaism. It actually violates it, which is why the Hasidic community has been calling it out from day fucking one. And going, wait a minute, this is actually a violation of the holy exile. Like, this goes against Judaism, period. And on many levels, including, the genocidal factors too. Judaism also greatly frowns upon that.
Yeah, like it's why people like fucking Solomon are not very looked up high upon. But I guess they didn't learn about the bullshit with Solomon and David. I don't know. They go on about the old books all the time, and I just feel like they haven't read them because they that's the only place they could have got the idea of this Jewish nation from. And um what happened to this kingdom of Israel? I wonder, did it destroy itself under its own chauvinism, trying to colonize the land that it was invited to by the natives onto? Doing some literal like the English shit here, like what they did in the fucking like 7th century. Like, oh, we were invited onto this land when we were once also like minorities harmed by the fucking Roman Empire. Well, now let's colonize it. And oh, we were once minorities harmed by the Egyptians. Now let's colonize the Assyrian people and the fucking Palestinian people. Like, and fucking it backfired on them and it got their empire crushed. Like that's what happened to the Kingdom of Israel. Because I was speaking about this with my comrade Dr. Weisfeld. The Kingdom of Israel, like yeah, what has like 200 years at most, and that's if you include the like slow death of it. Like it's not a very long period of time, given how long the Israelites and the Hebrew peoples were like in that territory for. Like it was like a blip of history compared to the rest of it, and like the actual stable period of time was 80 years. 80 years. That's what Israel exists upon. 80 years. About what? How long ago was it? Like 2000 years ago? So they have an 80-year period of 2000 years ago, and that's what Jewish nationalism is all entirely based off of.
And this is another historical point to make sure to highlight too, is that even then it was also a war that led to land grab. They went in battle against the Canaanites and seized land in Canaan, which is now Palestine. Like it, this was after wandering the desert for 40 years, after having been enslaved in Egypt, and before that, like wandering around to, like we were talking about, a nomadic tribal people. So do Jewish people descend from the Arabian Peninsula? Yes. Can we pinpoint where? No, because we were a traveling people at that point. So to be like, well, this one spot that's nice and green and lush and grows everything that, ancient Jewish people stole from the Canaanites, to be like, that's ours. No, the fuck it's not. It wasn't then either. It was simply a battle of neighboring tribes.
Yeah.
Like,
And what's it with the situation as well? When I point out this and what's it Bundis would probably explain this a little better than I can, but there's a thing with like my criticisms of Jewish nationalism isn't actually me doing the Lenin and denying that they're Jewish nations. And there's a reason I personally say plural, because I think that the Jewish community is an extraordinary type of ethnic group where it is comprised of several different types of national groups that are comprised of Hebrew and Yiddish peoples. The Yiddish peoples are Hebrew peoples, but they also have their own cultural conceptions and developments that I fucking would hate to ever see get destroyed. I love Yiddish to bits. It's fucking beautiful. And not to have favoritism over anything or anything. I love phonetics and language, so I get all nerdy about it all. But with and then you have the like so you have like that dynamic relationship of all those different groups and their different relationships.
You froze.
I thought it was my phone for a minute. I know Carter's feed froze.
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like being on camera, like always.
Well, hopefully Kara can reconnect in a second. Oh, you're moving
Yeah.
again. There you go.
Yo, what?
You froze mid-sentence.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, sorry. Where was I?
Oh fuck! Now my brain started out
Okay,
like.
so like I can just repeat
How
some
about
chunk of it.
start midway? Start midway with that.
So the like you have like the dynamic relationship of the what like the Jewish ethnic groups comprise as to what Jewish like nationality represents, and it's in a way like uniquely cosmopolitan in the kind of way that like the the Roma are as well, and traveling people. Irish diaspora has the same shit going on as well, which is interesting because you tend to find Irish, Roma, and Jewish people being like intermingled in traveler culture. And like I know plenty of people that are Irish, Jewish, and Roma. And I know plenty of people that are just Irish and Roma. And I don't think I have any Roma, but I am Irish from sort of fucking Scouse heritage. And if you know how we got into fucking Liverpool, we weren't too up on our laurels. We'll put it that way. The Scousers are Irish themselves, troublesome history. But you know, with the Jewish people, like there's that complicated relationship to nation that I don't think should be like neglected, because I think like a lot of Jewish people like commonly just told to shut up whenever they do want to say like fuck Zionism, but there isn't like just no such thing as like Jewish ethnic group and stuff. Judaism isn't just like a religion. There is like an ethnic component to it that can't be neglected and is troublesomely oftenly neglected. But what do you want to say, Comrade Joe?
Yeah, just to kind of touch base on like bring it home. Like one of the events I went to this weekend in southern Colorado and the San Luis Valley or Valle, and it's supposed to be the biggest valley in the whole world, and it's real beautiful. So I got to experience where and there's certain lands that are allocated to be like common lands where you can go graze, you can go hunt, fish, and you don't need no beachy license. So what this one person has done, he's supposedly bought a whole section of the mountain and is putting a 10-foot deer fence around it, right where there's a crossing that's been for eons of time, and now these animals are getting stuck. I mean, it's like, and so like, and then it came back from those properties were allocated from the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, some of the original Spanish land grants. Actually, and even the town is known to be the smallest town. Oh no, the oldest town in Colorado. That was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. But but see, there's still a lot of fights going on with water rights and land back, just like in common with the things were being discussed earlier. And I seen one of the Robins put up earlier. We should maybe, or somebody said in the intercommunal relations committee, we should start working more with those that support Palestine. Of course, we'd have to really make a platform for them to come onto, I mean, like, or maybe we should create some kind of page and like we're inviting, and then maybe we can share it with all our comrades and then let them reshare it. But we got to be prepared for who's going to come and how we're going to monitor who's coming in and stuff. But it's easy to get started, but it's hard to monitor. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I just really had a great time this week. Oh, then I was picking all kinds of wild herbs and wild asparagus, and I was like, it was real spiritual and stuff. So, but I'm gonna associate myself with, like I'm saying, there's a lot of things that we can associate ourselves with these still that are fighting for their treaty rights and their sovereign lands, or for free roaming lands and water. And it's a struggle, even here in the middle of the United States. Southern Colorado is probably like center point almost. I don't know, or somewhere close to it. I don't know if it's Oklahoma or what, but anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
That's a common struggle, that fight for land back. That's important to be able to interact with each other and build those intercommunal relations, like you said, and be able to support each other. We should definitely have some ideas out there in that committee and start getting the ball rolling there and bringing together all involved.
Like a recruitment video? Like if we all like did like a recruitment video, like we all prepared ourselves, and then had just a short YouTube video, and then pushed that out there,
Right.
and see what happens with that. I'm not used to doing stuff like that, but it could create some serious awareness. But are we prepared for all the awareness that it's going to create? That's the ticket.
That is indeed always part of the struggle when it comes to recruiting people into revolutionary movements. So, I mean, I would say address that in the similar manner to what we do, like with UPM, of getting to know people, working with them. Let us show them what actions, who they are, see who's
Yeah,
willing to work.
that's why I suggested with the Brown Berets that they have a Thursday night study group that is not Brown Beret only. It's well open to the public of revolutionaries, and it was set up for recruits and prospects. That way they can get a gist of things, but they're not actually in our specific meetings, study groups.
Right.
So I know it's like a lot to take on, but we're already doing 2 of those just with the Brown Berets. But I don't know how we could do that, or like if we made movie nights open to the public, because we're not. I mean, it's open for discussion, but it's not like we're. I don't know how to go about that too. I don't know. It gets put out there more.
That is something that we've started doing with like the movie nights and book nights. Like sometimes you'll see Secretary Shanti kick the Zoom link out on her page with, the poster for whatever book we're reading, so
Yeah.
that new folks who want to take part can hop in and join us. And, I would love to see more people hopping in on that and being able to get to know them, start networking with them.
Yeah, and I was real grateful for Shanti to do that, because Shanti even shared it on my whatchamacallit, Los Brown Berets page, which I thought was real positive. And I shared it a couple times, but I think we could do a little bit more sharing of that. Because if I was to start sharing it, I mean, so I would have to make sure that it could be at every study group, and then be able to host to let in who I recognize, because of the people that I invite, and I won't invite like all en masse at one time. I'll invite like 10 at one time, so it won't be so hard to manage. And out of those 10, if we get 2 or 3, I'd be happy. Then we can try another 10. Oh, I'm gonna be. They asked me to be a panel guest speaker, and I'm not really good at speaking, but Matthew Solomon's coming into Denver. I think the first weekend of July or something. I posted it, but they asked me to be a panel speaker of that group that he's going over there and working with. And I'm glad that in his thing, I don't know if y'all seen it on my page. He puts the Panther movement. He didn't put the United. I don't. The United Panther movement, but the Panther movement, and his little write up and stuff, like recognizing, like what's up. So that was pretty powerful, man. Like he's putting it out there, and I shared it already with the community on all the news or all the community connections I have in Denver. Hopefully we get a good turnout on that.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, that documentary is really eye-opening and sheds light on potential solutions, realistic solutions that we can actually implement and be able to abolish the police, because we really don't need them. They do fine us and kill us. Come on now. Having a community organization around addressing things right at home ourselves is much more doable and saves lives. If you guys watching this have not seen Reimagining Safety yet, you need to watch it. That is a phenomenal film. It is one we do plan on showing again in the movie nights on Wednesday nights for UPM. So keep tabs on that. What's up, Kara?
Okay, it does have some good ideas, but until capitalism is over, the police will never be abolished. Like, we can form these people's organizations and it'll be a good idea, but they'll be existing in competition with the police, like trying to fill its boots, basically, trying to get it out of the community and protect the communities. Kind of similar to what the Panthers did when they policed the police in the communities, turning up on fucking arrests, firing shotguns. Now, we're not able to do it that simply anymore. I mean, in the UK, they've literally fucking disarmed us, and in the US, they've made it a lot harder to open carry in most states. So, like, shit's different. We got a different atmosphere to deal with, but the principle is still the same. Trying to find a way to do community organization of our communities and get those community organizations in a position where they can limit the amount of accessibility to the community the police have, because that's all you can really do on the within the situation, because you can't really end the police until capitalism over. The bourgeoisie wouldn't let you. They're their little stormtroopers, and they need their little pit and stormtroopers to protect private property, keep it safe.
Yeah, but at the same time, it brings into light a lot of things. You know, sometimes it takes baby steps. You know, of course, you're not going to change the whole uh, thing in one day. I mean, things didn't turn out to take one day to be so fucked up, and it's probably not going to take a day to fix it.
Oh well,
But
I'm not
but
discerning
there's a
that they're
lot of
good ideas.
ingredients. There's a lot of ingredients of what the community can do.
Hmm.
What I mean, so like that's in any documentary, you know, you don't have to take the whole documentary for whatever it is, you know, gather the bits and pieces out of it to
I
make
mean,
a
it's a good
clear action.
documentary still as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a good tool to inform the community of what to even reimagine safety really means, you know, and a lot
Yeah,
of people.
I agree with the documentary for the most part. I just have a nuanced take on the approach. I say that those organizations that are being built will have similarities. They won't be all the way there, but they'll have similarities to the kind of ways we'll organize safety when we do actually take power. This is talking dual power sort of
Oh,
stuff, but dual power implies dual power. So, like, the police will still coexist at this point in time because they're the people that we're combating, the people we're trying to kick out of the fucking our zones. So I otherwise agree with absolutely everything else the documentary says. I just think the documentary is slightly utopian in that it thinks that we could end the police inside capitalism. I don't think that's possible. But
oh, but
otherwise, like,
if I
it's
could say
spot
before I
on and
forget,
it's like full of solid stuff from like so many comrades and speaks to loads of people who've been on the street level of struggle for fucking decades. It's got like dope ass shit in it, and it's like 110% something people should watch.
already, um, and uh, he has connected me with this coalition of abolitionists and justice fighters from across the country. Uh, Maybe in the intercommunal relations, we all shake hands and work together.
Yeah.
Um, that's that's a good possibility, and that's what that they reached out to me. That organization reached out to me because we had a Zoom meeting. There was like what was nice is there was probably like 20 different organizations, right, from all over the place, and then all I mean networking, and I even met people right here in Pueblo for being on that meeting. I met people in Denver, and this was a national meeting, Zoom meeting, and I was like, whoa, man, the potential to that coalition. We're going to be meeting again. I told them always give me the heads up, um, but maybe if it's okay, I can invite you guys all to that, or share it with Zen and say, well, we'll all put it in our calendar. Like, hey, let's just make Matthew's thing. You'll meet all kinds of people. You like, and then imagine who. Because it's kind of a networking coalition of networking organizers and movers and shakers that are able to do stuff, or those that are just able to do certain stuff, and putting them all together on a national level. So now you know you're moving to Funtucky. Oh, I know a couple of people in Funtucky. You know, it might be fun there. just a joke, but just to say, you know what I mean?
I was, yeah,
Uh,
no, like I was having a bit of a moment where I was like, do I have to ask if America actually named the place Funtucky or not? Because there's always the possibility. Like, you know, like don't underestimate the English. But the fucking what's it? Yeah, no, getting to interact with like that high level amount of people that, you know, as the old saying goes, would chant fuck the police. You know, I'm all fucking game for that crowd. Like, like that.
oh,
You find some fucking lovely people on the anti-police side of things on the left, like the ACAB, like, because it's if you know one of the litmus tests in the lumpen as to whether you got someone who's decent is their framework as to what they think of the police. Like, you know, you got someone who was got on the wrong side of like reality itself if they think the police are like decent people that will protect them and like keep them safe. It's like I don't know what like reality you've been living in, but god damn, ain't this one.
That's one of the things I really liked about the film is it's got a lot of good points in there that can reach those people who don't get it because they've never actually fucking needed the police and found the great disappointment in holy fuck, they're not going to show up for this shit. And the whole thing is building up networks, actual relationships with the people in your community where like if some shit pops off where you need security, you should be able to call your neighbor and instantly have help, not be waiting 20, 30 minutes or maybe days to see if the pigs fucking show up when your house is being broken into. Because most likely they'll show up in a couple of days just to take a report because they're fucking useless.
I
If
mean,
someone's trying to break in and rape you and kill you, the pig ain't gonna get there in fucking time. You'd better have security yourself and with your neighbors. You know, you'd better be armed, so your neighbors better be, and come together to actually put a stop to whatever that security issue is. If you're having a mental health issue, you should be able to call a neighbor because fuck knows anywhere you live, you're likely to have a neighbor who has some experience, at least in therapy or in other areas related to that of social work that can come and talk with you and work through things with you, not need to call 911 and have a pig show up and shoot you because you're having a mental health care day. Things like that, to be able to call upon your community to be a fucking community.
yeah, straight up. And what's it? I've actually been through that experience quite a few times, and one of the funniest ones was uh and it's always someone else calling the police, bar the one that happened when I was 9 when I had a brick thrown at my head, which is a really early experience where I called the police and they just told me to go home. Like wonderful. But yeah, I my like head had a half brick thrown at it and dented in it. But another situation that happened was that I woke up at Christmas Eve morning, 5 a.m. to the sound of the door getting battered in. And the drunk neighbor downstairs, well, I say drunk, he was on a lot of other stuff other than just alcohol, but out of his fucking face, smashing the door down with a machete. Now, me and my mate, we've gone and grabbed the air rifle and the air pistol, and we've set up shop at the top of the stairs, and we've set up some golf court clubs. So we're gonna javelin the golf clubs and then shoot them with the air guns. You know, or plinkers if you want to give them a more sort of Yankee sounding name. But the what's it? The but what ended up happening as well is his missus just she wanted to call the police, and so he told her to call them as if you're just here on your own, um, because there would be more of a chance for them to come, and if she really wants them to come, because me and him was skeptical, she can go that way. She's on the phone to them for 45 minutes of them just wasting her time, and they just turn around and like when she asks them if they're gonna come, they say you should go out, you should go speak to him, the guy chopping the door down with the machete. And then if you have any other issues, call us back.
Go speak to them. Are they
Yeah.
fucking high? Who's going to go have a conversation with somebody booting your door in with a machete in their hand? I've been there. He was one of 3 Nazis trying to boot my door in. One of them had a fucking machete in his hand. I picked up my fucking 16 gauge, sat there smoking my morning bowl, drinking my fucking coffee, and, you know, loaded the fucking clip for it and was ready. Like, all right, yeah, I'm not opening the fucking door to talk to the motherfucker with a machete. Neither should she. Fuck.
Straight up. You know, 16 gauge sounds like the right answer to this.
Yeah, it was. It got me arrested because the Nazis are cowards and called the pigs on me while they were trying to boot in the door to my house, threatening to kill me. They held me for 3 days and had to release me without charges because they knew it was a bunk arrest. But nevertheless, fuck no, I'm not opening the door to have a conversation with the motherfucker with the machete. I'm just going to sit comfortably in my fucking chair. If they come through the door, they're going to fucking catch the fucking business end of my 16 gauge. That's real simple. But, you know, they saw me through the window and decided to call the pigs on me for felonious assault with a firearm. Anywho, I see Shay's got his hand up, and so does Joe. Go ahead, Shay.
When I came when I came home, I was doing prison work, and some young laws and some Panthers, you know, and some of us, we call ourselves Midnight Special. You know, we were talking about cleaning up the neighborhood, and we came up with one solution. The only solution we was, you know, clean up the neighborhood, meaning getting people that use drugs or sell drugs out of the neighborhood. Not use drugs, but sell drugs out the neighborhood. Because you can't get people who use drugs out the neighborhood. You can't do that. So what we did, we went full prepared. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to even go into detail. We went full prepared. There was about 40 of us. We walked into this house, main house, that was, you know, where other pushers were. And we put our guns to their fucking heads, you know, and gave them 10 minutes to get the fuck out. Or we're gonna shoot the fuck. We were gonna kill them, no doubt. Do you know, man, that we did that in a few houses, and in a week's time, the place was clean?
I bet, because they're cowards.
That only means that when it comes to when it comes to talking about the pigs, right? We got to really educate the people so that the people can begin to trust themselves and trust us. You know, people, you know, call themselves the vanguard. Trust us, you know, to help them, you know, clear the situation. Because if not, people continue relying on the pigs, and they're gonna keep calling the pigs, keep calling the pigs, keep calling. We got to stop that. We got to start educating people to have faith in themselves. That's where it comes from.
Right. It really does, and especially like the pigs don't live in your neighborhood. The pigs live off in the suburbs somewhere. They're coming into the city to work. They don't know the people who are out there every fucking day. They don't have relationships with them. They ain't necessarily going to recognize them. Well, guess what? The people in the neighborhood know who they see on the corner selling heroin every day that they don't want selling heroin on the corner in their motherfucking neighborhood. They recognize them. And it's a matter of once the community puts their collective feet in their asses, then those motherfuckers don't feel so comfortable moving shit in the neighborhood that's killing the neighborhood, because they know they're going to get recognized by other members in the community, and they're going to find the community's security squad putting a foot in their ass again.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get rid of that shit. So, like, you know, a lot of the pigs hated a friend of mine who got murdered years ago because he ran one gang in Flint, but you know what? He was doing good work with it. He ran out the other gang that was kidnapping and trafficking women and girls and selling heroin on the fucking corners. And after he got murdered and the cops fucking laughed about it, like, fuck it, just gangsters taking each other out. Well, that other gang that was doing the human trafficking and selling heroin managed to step back in, because then there was a power vacuum, because there was no longer my friend and his people to keep them the fuck out.
Mm.
So the pigs need to fuck off entirely on that shit. They don't do nothing to clean up our streets. Matter of fact, the Flint area narcotic group that's supposed to be fucking handling that shit on the pig side of things is more likely to steal your drugs from you for them to take home and do themselves.
Domestic violence.
They
Domestic.
get rid of the dealers, but the community will.
Well, yeah, they're also more likely to raid users than they are dealers.
Yeah.
Also, like, the fucking domestic violence police here has been known for having an endemic problem regarding like manipulating like single mothers in domestic violence situations. Not to just the obvious that you would think to take sexual advantage of them, but actually quite often to take sexual advantage of their children. We're talking like kids as young as like 2 or less sometimes, but a lot of the time they're like more in the 7 to 12 range. But nevertheless, we're talking like really young children here that the police are like, as domestic violence squads, coming into like families that are already broken and going for a lot of harm and taking as much advantage as they can of them in the most disgusting ways possible. Drop the beat, Joe.
Just to touch back on what Zen was talking about, what's happening in her community. Today, I read a newsletter from the chief of the swine saying what his officers will and will not respond to, and in what time fashion, and what they would put, first. And even if you were to get robbed at a liquor store, and you called and they said they left already, they're not going to go over there right away unless somebody's being harmed, according to them. And I was like, man, this is even more so what we're talking about is, and like Chad mentioned, the community has to be able to learn how to protect itself by any means necessary. And like I think somebody else mentioned, it's only being out there in the community that you're going to know that. Because somebody said, like, the police don't even live in that community. The mayor don't even live in this community. The council members don't even live in this community. But that they want to counsel the community, like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? You come in and always just stereotype and target people just because they resemble other people that are of that nature. And then they want to blame all those that look similar. That's another issue that the city has too. But one of the positive things here in this community is the police don't pull you over for just any old reason. And I was like glad about that, because everywhere I've gone, we've always gotten harassed and pulled over and for some stupid ass shit. Like, I mean, just some real hateful stuff. So I was thinking, is that a negative thing for the community, or is that a better thing for the community? For the community to actually stand up and police themselves. And I think that this has just happened. So I'm sure we're going to be having meetings about this and then talking about, see what kind of plan of action and we can run with this. That's all comments.
Oh, and by the way, I meant to mention, where the people that I was with, that we went down to the block to get people out to throw people out. You know who one of them was? Yuri Kosuyama.
Right on.
She was one of them. She used to be always with us, man. The Midnight Special, always.
talk about staying engaged as a revolutionary. I was fortunate enough to go out shooting this weekend. I shot a 30 caliber, and then I shot this old shotgun. I think it was from 1883, a double barrel breech load, and that was badass. Oh, and a little 22. I shot the 22 more because the bullets for the other stuff's more expensive. But I even got to go shooting this stuff, man, and I was like, man, that's if there was space for us revolutionaries to actually have, you know, encampments, training encampments on how to do, whether it be hand-to-hand combat or whether it be arms training, or even just for medical, or just or with a knife or with a bow and arrow or whatever, have everything open to be able to do, some kind of learning, or even, hatchets, whatever the case may be. That's all I wanted to say.
I think knowing how to use a firearm of like at least a handgun should be like required shit.
We all got quiet and stuff. I see Panther Queen just
No, I'm like
joined.
I'm really unnerved. I'm just like wagwan. Like
Oh yeah, but anyway,
Yep,
Panther
yep,
Queen,
all
we just want to
power.
acknowledge you. All power, sister. You got home from the hospital already? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I just was released like an hour ago. So I just got home like an hour ago. All
Well,
power.
I
I'm
was
nice.
out of
burning
that
Welcome
sage.
back.
institution. I made it out
I was,
alive.
Right
I was
on,
burning
right
some
on.
sage for you. That's right on.
That's what's up. That's cool. An hour out of the hospital and you're already right back at it. Like, yeah, let me in here on the pod. It's good.
Yeah, you know it.
Hell
All power.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would say not to keep on talking about it, but now that you're just out of the hospital, I'm sure you feel a good percentage better than before you went to the hospital and stuff. How are you feeling today, after being released? How do you feel?
I feel a lot better, comrade. I feel rested. I feel rejuvenated, and just ready to pick up where I left off before I got sick.
Oh, cool, cool. There's an old oldie song. It's called "Pick Up the Pieces." You ever check it out on YouTube, anyone? Yeah, sometimes we got to pick off where we left off, and like I know some of us, due to our health or due to just keeping our mental health on a clear basis, we got to balance out what we do and whatever it is. But I always tell people too, and we should always know this: we got to be right and healthy ourselves before we can help anyone else. So I'm glad you're back at it, sister. And that's it. I'll be quiet
Right.
because I'm just glad. I'm just
Yeah,
glad
and
you're
then
here.
too, I learned a lot about the medical industry out here, in a different state other than California. So
Right,
it was a
right.
learning experience for me.
Oh, okay. So if anything like that in the future happens again, you kind of already got a map on how to tackle it, right?
Yep, right, right. And where I can, tell other people that might have cancer or even sickle cell, where is
Mhm.
a safe place for them to go in this state? Because I went through a few hospitals before I found the one that I felt comfortable with them taking care of my health.
It's a kind of database that intercommunal relations within the UPM could really come with crafting together, communicating with comrades all over the place that have been to different hospitals and just sort of figuring out the kind of behaviors, tendencies, and things to expect from different hospitals and like what the kind of best places to go. And if you need to go to one of the worst of places, like what kind of attitudes are you expecting and what are our suggestions to try and avoid some of the bullshit that they might cause or give trouble with? So there's like a
Right.
staggered way of dealing with different things, different scenarios, different situations, and it can be this like quite broad document where you just have to search your area and then you
Yeah.
can look
And
on
it's
a
important to
map
know your
and
different
it
rights
shows
so you know how
different
to fight it.
areas.
Yeah, knowing our patients' rights in different areas is important. So if we do have to fight back, we know exactly where to tackle it at.
Oh,
But
glad
it
you met
felt good
Sister
to be
Cleo
back,
too.
comrades. I love you
I'm
guys.
all right, one love, but I'm glad you met Sister Cleo also, who help write that medical bill of rights. So maybe that empower you to keep on that struggle, sister. And that's all.
Most definitely.
Are we still recording? And if so, can we end it?
Yes, we are recording, and yeah, if nobody has any other ideas of stuff to um bring up for current events discussion, then we could wrap things up.
I mean, I got one last thing,
Paul
and
Power.
I brought it up, before the stream, but we haven't gotten back to it in the stream. Um, that it really doesn't matter that Trump was found guilty, because there's been a lot of liberals like fucking celebrating and acting like the world has changed, or like it's gonna make him not get elected. And at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, obviously, we all know that it doesn't fucking matter anyway. Electoral politics isn't gonna fucking save us. But like, they are acting like they won a war. But
Right.
Trump is probably going to get elected
That's why
because
Trump's approval rating went up.
right.
Well, the thing is, too, is the system is built to work for the elite. Period. We all know this, and the fact of the matter is the shit that he actually, has done that is far worse ain't on that list of charges. He got convicted of a bunch of slap on the wrist, misdemeanor bullshit, basically, and I think a couple of felonies, but still slap on the wrist type bullshit for like paperwork within his business, dumb shit. And that's because you'll never see him or any of the other fucking establishment politicians, any of their buddies, their cohorts, none of them actually face charges for the really horrendous shit that they do. This has just been a fucking show. And it kind of played out exactly how Trump and his fucking cohorts wanted it to. Of now they're getting a bunch of fucking pity and pity payments from all the Trump supporters out there, where they raised fucking millions of dollars in the first 24 hours after the conviction became public.
Yeah. Well, now he's a martyr.
What's that?
Well, now he's a martyr.
Yeah, that part. And it's like all of this is futile shit. It's more bread and circuses to keep people distracted. Because when it comes down to it, both him and Biden are fascist pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So if people want to be out here arguing over this turd or that turd, that's their problem. But neither turd is going to fucking benefit the people in any way, shape, or form.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, like in a kind of situation like this, where like either side of the fence, genocide's on the table, like it doesn't matter for whatever like small little fucking differences that you can point out when like the majority of them start like are identical with each other, and they both at least want to cause at least an genocide, and if anything multiple, if you actually look deeper beneath the curtains and think about it a little deeper, and fucking Biden hasn't done anything to stop trans genocide, so that fucking
Ah, crap. Sorry, I picked my phone up and now I'm bumping shit.
someone's ringing me. That was my you know like so it's like either way, a lot of fucking genocide's gonna happen, and so it's like rather than counting how many apples are in each one's basket, We should constitute the fact that both baskets are full of poisonous apples, and it really doesn't matter. One of those apples is enough to kill you. There's no point even trying to tell me that, well, Biden has only 7 poison apples in his basket, while Trump has 9. And that is, makes Trump the more evil guy. So we gotta get him out and replace him with Biden, who only has 7 poison apples in his basket. And it's like, okay, go eat one of those poisonous apples, and then we'll decide on whether we can elect Biden or not. I'll let you be like the litmus test as to whether these poisonous apples are a great thing we could be introducing to our society. Because it's fucking bullshit. It's a stupid argument. It's the lesser evils argument, and when genocide's on both sides of the table, even the lesser evilists are a bit content when it comes to hearing that argument. They're like, no, no.
Right. That's a beautiful analogy for it too. I heard similar before, and it's like, yeah, that. Who wants to roll the dice on that poison apple? Comrade Shay, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say this. The whole trial has taught us a lot. And one of the things that has taught us was that once a person is convicted of a felony, he automatically goes to jail and waits his sentence. He don't wait from the outside. He waits, he goes straight to jail and waits. Now, that's one question, one issue. The other issue is he's talking about appealing. He can't, most people that are convicted of a felony, they go to jail and they appeal the case, but they appeal it and it takes them a year before the issues are presented before the courts. This motherfucker, all of a sudden he's talking about appealing the case. Trump, he's talking about appealing the case. According to reporters, that has said that he's going to appeal the case, and that it may be 4 years. 4 years of what? Is he going to prison? If he's going to jail, he should go to jail. He should have been in jail. Once and this is what I'll be arguing with people. If you are convicted of a felony, you automatically go to jail. You don't like he's strolling down the hallway, man, like he's God and shit. No, man. And this also goes to show how the difference between justice for people for the ruling class as opposed to justice for the poor class. Poor people go to jail immediately after being convicted, or immediately. So that's something to think about.
It usually is the wealthy who get released on personal recognizance bonds, and it's like, wait a minute, they're the greatest flight risk. Let the poor people go home. They ain't got the money to have their own private jet waiting to shuttle them off some fucking where else. Come on. Joe, I'd seen you also had your hand up. You made an excellent point in the chat too.
Yeah, I already forgot what the hell I was going to say. But anyway, I had wrote something like my ex-wife was going to college and she needed to write something. And then I had just finished reading this book, The Poor Go to Jail and the Rich Go Free. And I was like, well, shoot, I'll just write a report on this. But that's so important right there to think about, because what Shay was saying, once you are found convicted of a felony, you're convicted. Now you're only waiting your sentence date, and you can go take it to the appellate's court all you want to, and yeah, you probably will be prolonged the whole 4 years. But it's a propaganda thing to me. That's what I wanted to say. It sounds like just a propaganda thing, just to draw more attention to him. To like, look, they're picking on him. Hey, let's support him. You know what I mean? Like, but I mentioned earlier, like, if you're a convicted felon, you're not even allowed to own a rifle or vote. How in the hell can you vote for a felonious bastard? Well, I mean, where's the separation there? You know, I mean, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. Maybe I'm ranting because I just got excited about it, but like, this is what I was thinking about the whole concept of it. Like, it's a media propaganda thing just to draw more attention in his direction. So like poor, like somebody said earlier, that Puddle's pity party. Uh, that's another group. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them, Puddle's pity party. But it's like a pity party thing, and then it's just gonna get more. I don't know, but I see. I mean, like I was gonna say, I don't always like to pay attention to stuff like that because I don't watch television and stuff like that. I just come across things, and I was kind of worried because I know it's an electoral vote, and people think, oh, I voted, I did something. But you didn't do jack shit, really, unless it was something for your community. But anyway, I don't know about this Trump thing. Now, at first I was thinking like, he's probably not going to make it. But after this thing came out, I was like, you would think right away, jump on that wagon, like, oh, like somebody was saying they were celebrating. Oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. Fuck, we don't have no fucking say, and that's going to be a mockery to the whole fucking world. Like, what's the United Snakes of America really doing? It's just going to weaken the United Snakes, and although I'm not part of it, but I have to live amongst this belly of the beast still. My families do. So anyway, that's all comments.
And I mean, that's the thing too, is elections are already fucking loaded. For one, the establishment is choosing its puppets before they ever get on the ballot. So do we really have a choice when we're only picking from amongst who the establishment knows will continue to suck their corporate cocks and keep the shit going of billionaires running every fucking thing? But there's also the factor of the Electoral College being able to just completely ignore the votes of the constituents and place their electoral votes however the fuck they want. There's no accountability there. They can literally tell the masses to fuck off. That's a problem when your vote doesn't fucking count. Doesn't mean a goddamn thing. And, you know, for the United States to still be pretending like we have a democracy here, no, the fuck we don't. We've never had a democracy here. We have a constitutional republic that was built where literally you had to be a wealthy, white, landowning man to have the right to vote. And it's taken struggle after struggle for other people to be able to even get a vote, only for it to still not fucking matter because of the way this system operates, because it's still doing everything it can to concentrate the voting power into the hands of the wealthy white male landowners. Fucking period. Or in this context, more along the lines of owners of the means of production for every fucking thing. It's all fucked. And this is why we call for revolution, because it's only by replacing this, rebuilding something else entirely, that you will ever have a vote that actually fucking counts. We do not have democracy here. And ran.
That's right. There's no such thing as democracy in this country.
Oh.
It never existed from the very beginning.
Not for the people. There is a bourgeois democracy, but there isn't a people's democracy. Because that is an important distinction, because that is one of the things that tends to differ fascism from liberalism. When liberalism exists, there is a bourgeois democracy. Fascism tends to make that bourgeois democracy kneel before whatever the petty bourgeoisie want to strap together with dynamite and sellotape. But the fucking Philip basically describes like every year with the Nazis, dynamite and sellotape. But the that sort of situation is sort of a falsifying one, because the way that democracy works is just like alien, and as far as like us proletarians are be concerned, it's not real democracy, but it is technically a form of democracy. It's just their own little twisted fucking shit. It varies in ways in existence. but it's a thing that has to be distinctly analyzed because you have that difference between when it does and doesn't exist. Now we're at a point where we have like two fascists trying to vie for democratic control. Like regardless of who wins, they want to do something that's gonna harm democracy. Fucking Biden is gonna try and utilize imperialism as well as social chauvinism to maintain the sort of democratic third positionist rule that started in the 90s with the Democrats, where they've been pushing this third way shit that they got from fucking they got the Labour they got from the Labour Party in Britain. And Trump wants to just completely railroad the framework of bourgeois democracy and form a like completely unquestioning like fascist dictatorship.
Oh, brings to mind something Rob and I were discussing a few days ago, and it reminded me of a very beautiful facet that drives the point home. Because a lot of liberals are like, oh my God, how dare you call us fascist? Because they don't understand the term. And go back to the root of it. Mussolini, the father of fascism, that piece of shit, literally defined it as the perpetual privatization of everything. And this is where it comes into being hand in hand with capitalism, which is holy shit, the privatization of the ownership of every fucking thing, from the means of production to the fucking housing supply, the food supply, the whole fucking 9 yards. And until Democrats get off the capitalist bandwagon and quit with the livery of supporting capitalist shit that is driving further the privatization of everything and harming the masses, they're doing fascism. Period. Does it take on other facets? Has it taken on other facets as it's grown in our understanding of its application due to caste and class and gender and sexuality and all those other factors coming into play into how the system develops its fucked hierarchy of who holds power within that fucking system? Yes, because fascism and capitalism are both upheld by and produces byproducts: racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, all the fucked isms. And at the root of it is still fascism. All of those other facets merely come into play to help maintain their power and control over that privatization of everything factor. That's why they push racist shit. That's why they push misogynistic, patriarchal shit, homophobic shit, the whole fucking 9 yards, to keep people fighting amongst themselves over fucking gender wars and identity wars and all of that, rather than coming together to go, this whole shit is fucked. And it's not just the economic facets, it's all these bigotries that uphold it. And this is also where I don't just address liberals, but fucking pat stocks too. We're not free until we're all free from all forms of oppression. Fucking period. End of story. You can't address only one facet. So in the pat stocks position, sorry motherfuckers, you cannot address only the economics and leave out all of the other things that contribute to that economic system. That's called being a fucking reductionist, a class reductionist. And to the shit libs, you can't sit here and practice capitalism and uphold that privatization of everything and wave your fucking rainbow flag and take a knee wearing kente cloth, pretending like you support the people when all it is pandering, and you do nothing to actually change the oppression happening. Because you're still stuck in the corporate cock. Those are just opposite ends of like one little facet of fucked spectrum there, where neither of them get it. It's frustrating as hell. Because in both cases, they're still trying to uphold fucked up parts of the system. Sorry, Democrat. Can't convince me of any fucking thing with you waving your rainbow flag because all you're practicing is pink washed fucking capitalism. Stop trying to sell us shit. We'll paint our own. Thank you. When it comes to Pat Socks, kindly fuck off on the we'll deal with your problems later after we fix my wallet. No, because fixing the wallet for everybody also means removing these other fucked facets that keep people held in a fucked hierarchy of bigotry.
I mean, they'll go on
You're
about
both
like
missing the whole
fucking.
picture.
They'll go on about like gender ideology, and then when you pull them up on them being transphobic, they're like, "We're not saying sexual minorities should be that. Hey, we're not fucking sexual minorities. We're gender minorities. I mean, being a gender minority will cause you to have like sexual issues within your minority status. Ask like fucking any of us women. We've got like hundreds of thousands of years of it. But like, we're not sexual minorities. It's that thing of trying to treat it like transsexual instead of transgender. So it's always your big red flag if you see someone already saying shit like that. If they start calling trans people sexual minorities, they're full of shit. But I mean, if you hear gender ideology, that's a fascist buzzword. Like that's all that shit means. And those pat socks, they'll come out with it, and then they'll be like, "Oh no, we're not being transphobic. We don't hate anything about sexual minorities." But you can't deny that like the bourgeoisie has been funding this, and it is like conflated out of that. And like saying gender ideology is a bourgeois invention is a little different than saying that the imperialists do pinkwashing, because that's like what they're trying to hide behind. But they won't just say that. They kind of have to, they'll either just say pink imperialism, or they'll do this snaky workaround and they're like, no, we're not being transphobic. We're just trying to say that there's higher like value being put on this issue because the bourgeoisie are conflating it. And I'm like, bruh, there isn't even enough value being put on the issue. What the fuck you on about? Like, if the bourgeoisie were putting so much value on it, they're not doing a good job if they can't even stop a genocide in their own fucking system. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, honestly, like, call them out on the way they even frame it. That's usually where I start, because the moment somebody says gender ideology, they're already trying to dehumanize people. The last
That's
fucking
literally
time I
exactly where I
checked,
started.
trans people are not a fucking idea. Trans people exist. You're a human being, you're not a fucking idea. So for them to even try to call it ideology is already fundamentally trying to undermine the existence of trans people as people. No differently than other forms of othering people.
Literally, the first thing I said was gender ideology is a fascist myth, and I put it in like quotation marks. I said trans people have very dynamic political views. Pinkwashing and imperialist use of things is heavily criticized by the socialist side of the community. Yet we are all attacked for quote unquote gender ideology because it's a scapegoat tactic. It's one that uses Machiavellian shit, pushes the LGBTQIA community to this machination of gray evil, and is echoing Hitler's big lie concept. No, I came in swinging. um, through and through. The quote, secret bourgeois funding, end quote, the suggesting it was being solely imperialist, and then using imperialist exploitation of these things as a gotcha, when that imperialist exploitation of trans folk is harmful to the community, sort of pointing out that this has a lot of similarities to the anti-Semitism, but also actually the anti-trans positions pushed by the Nazis. And it isn't a comprise of quote unquote gender ideology, it is of bourgeois ideology, which any half-witted Marxist should be able to see, let alone people advertising themselves as principled revolutionaries. You act like I don't know who Midwestern Mussolini is. That's Midwestern Marx for the uninitiated. And what his awful perspective on trans folk is like. Also, trans folk aren't sexual minorities, we are gender minorities. These arguments against LGBTQIA plus representation aren't about anti-imperialism, it's about US conservatism.
Ow. Well said. Sorry, I'm way back here. I'm stretching out. It's nerve pain.
What's it? It was something I wanted to like share my screen with as a prop regarding my discussion on the Palestinian protest side of things.
Give me a second and I will give you co-host here so you can screen share. If Tim will fucking collaborate. Oh shit, I forgot. Rob's computer is the main host and I only have co-host right now. So I can't give you co-host, and Rob is, I think, in the car because he's logged in on his phone as well. Clearly not sitting at his computer. So I can't do that. Also, my neighbor just texted me and she's ready to run up to the store. So I gotta dip.
Oh, peace.
I didn't realize I was muted. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I am almost back home, so I can.
That's no worries. Like,
Well, maybe we should all say our goodbyes. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I have something to share, but I can't share it until he gets home.
I don't
like
cut the feed till he gets home either.
Well, I mean, the co-host should still be able to end the meeting, right?
I can leave it. I can't end it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, then y'all are stuck in this call for at least 3 minutes.
I've got
well,
nowhere to
you
be,
guys
so.
are. I'm gonna go hop in the car and go get some motherfucking cigarettes. So
That's
I love
Okay,
you guys.
sister. All right,
All power.
nice to see you smiling.
Love you, all power.
I'm in solidarity, sister.
I'm going soon too. I got it. It's almost 9:30.
Yep.
All power, Comrade Elder.
More
All
power.
power.
All love and power, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God damn, but yeah, like shit, protest action really needs to kick up a gear. Like it's good stuff, but I mean, I'd like to see some shit like what was happening in like Cairo going down, from what was happening in Cairo like a few months back when they like flooded the entire city with like millions of protesters. Like I want to see shit like that more often. Like rather than it being like, well, you know, this is going on for a while. Time to go back to my normal first world life because hot damn would I do anything that could risk my fortuitous existence here? And I'm just like my lump and ass is just like what? I have no fucking life and I still probably live a fucking higher standard of living than like a good chunk of the world. Like, welcome to fucking empire. Like, we all have some pretty hard times down here in poverty over here. We also are like still more well off than a good chunk of the world, and it is something to take some humility on. Like, yeah, no, like we all got like real problems. I got like fucking health issues and stuff. Like, no one can fucking like GI Joe fallacy their way through everything and be like the big I am fucking I'm gonna fucking solve every problem in the goddamn fucking world. But people who also bring that up when you talk about shit like this, they're fucking gaslighting you as well, because no one's ever suggesting you need to be like that. Like, holy shit. Like, you know, it's about balancing. You got to be healthy. You got to be looking after yourself. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be able to help none. But like, you also got to like do what you can for the things that are going on around you, and you got to really get involved with the community. Otherwise, like, what's the fucking point in anything? And like, what's it? Um, People need to be trying to like hook up with these struggles as much as possible, getting out there, making noise, and being willing to take risks that could get us in trouble, take risks that can fuck us on our ass. Because you know what? Yeah, we all have some pretty fucking hard times in here. I've lived in poverty all my life, and like had lived in abject poverty for a good fucking chunk of the like fucking last half of my life. like for gone homeless and everything, but still the living in an imperialist country has given me a lot of advantages that like I wouldn't have. In a lot of ways I could be dead right now if I went homeless in another part of the world. In many ways I might not be. I think it's not a drawn conclusion that someone as disabled as me would die like that, because I know people with my disabilities in the third world, so like obviously not. But like there's definitely it's definitely harder to survive with my kind of struggles. I mean, I grew up in the proletariat, and I found the lumpen proletariat. We got some of the closest relations you're gonna get with like third world pros, but like we're still like in like the fucking belly of the beast, and we get some benefits from being there, even if we are the discarded trash within the beast's belly. So like, fuck, we really need to be organizing.
Well, I agree with that because earlier it wasn't nothing nice, and I wasn't prepared to hear all that. But I'm not going to bring that up anymore. Um, no, it's not easy organizing, and it's not fair to leave it just on one individual. So I can understand the frustrations in it because I'm working on with different organizations and planning committees, and it's just really hard for everybody to be on the same chapter, um, or should I say the same page. And that's what I say. We don't always have to be on the same page, but at least we have to be on the same chapter. So,
I
but
was
anyway,
getting
comrades,
into like
it's
I
getting a
was
little
getting
late,
I was just
and
saying I was getting into like Palestinian organizing. That's what I was referring to. Like
yeah, no, and I've seen that, and I've seen it, and I mean, I'm already doing that here in the community, but like,
mm,
where do we make that platform for it to be, and then are we prepared to do that? If I bring in different organizations, like, we have to really be active, and definitely we cannot have no unprofessionalism like that happened earlier. With all due respects, I'm not here to be criticizing, just to be upbuilding. Um, that Imagine, I was gonna invite a bunch of people. I was like, oh man, I was like, hold on, I didn't even ask permission if I can invite a bunch of people. But like, if we want to build, I can help build. But we definitely have to be well structured. And with that being said, I'm gonna cut out, comrades. All power, revolutionary love, and stay strong
Oh,
wherever you
pal,
are.
I'm gonna cut out too. I gotta cut
revolutionary
out.
love.
All right,
Revolutionary love to you as well,
all right,
comrade.
comrades. All right, stay strong.
All power. Well, the good news, Kara, is that I am home, so I can give you co-host.
Hey, that's the two of
I'm muted. Now that it's just us.
us. Full
There
circle.
we go. You are now the co-host.
Cost. It's because I cost a lot. Actually, no, I'm the co-host. Like when like the show doesn't have much money and they're on a budget and they need to like squeeze out every dollar. I was like hired on one of those like bad newspapers that they sell on the bus for free. Um, nah, I'm just jesting about. Usually, I can find what I'm looking for, but I'm just like scrolling through the thing and I'm like, where the hell is, oh, is it not letting me stream it because it's a private browser? I'm trying to get it to just not have like my cart on the side as a list because it's just kind of annoying. But I guess I decided that I wanted privacy and Windows 11 said no. Fuck it. You're all gonna see my cart. Don't laugh at me. Like my computer screen needs cleaning, so I'm buying isopropyl alcohol. I don't know why that would be something that people would laugh at, but this is the internet and everyone's just kind of mean, so I'm just like preparing myself. I don't know. I'm fucking like I only just noticed like halfway through the stream that I hadn't taken my estrogen for 2 days, so I like my brain is completely fried. If you haven't noticed throughout the stream, I have been a bit wonky. Um, I also have screwdrivers in there and a weird folding keyboard. So there we go. Prepare your puns. I will refuse to laugh at them. So like to make a sort of point and be like, well, this is the closest thing use a prop because I haven't bought one yet. As you can see, it is in my basket, sitting there being a fucking expensive little prick. But you want to get one of these, and why is it an expensive little prick? Because you want the little bastard to be 60 watts. I'm talking about it like it's some horrible thing, but this is a wonderful contraption to get a hold of. Get these, go protests, and like enhance the sound of chants. You don't have to be the person who's starting the chants, though that's also a boss tink to be dropping on the table. But like you need to like help bring them alive, like help the chanter get more noise and like follow along what they start the chants as, so it amps up the volume of the chant across the protest and brings it out. That's a way of doing it if you're a little more anxious and you want to get in this and you want to start bringing your voice with some noise to there. That's the way going about it. If you're a little more like verbose and stuff, heck, you can fucking really take things forward. You can even drop some fucking lines out and things like that and really speak to people. So like if you're someone who's already regularly going to protests and like you're a fucking communist, a Marxist, an anarchist, and you don't have one of these, what are you doing, fam? Get yourself one of these. So yeah. And you want a 60 watt, but if you can't afford one and you do want to get one of these and get your voice out, you can get cheaper ones, but they're known for sounding awful. Also, this has a really cool feature on it where you can plug an aux in and it takes like micro SD card, and that means you can play music. So you can be playing some like Palestinian solidarity rap from like my brethren low key out of fucking echo phone at the fucking protest. Probably sound like shit, but people will still hear it really loud. So, Echo phone or megaphone. I always call them echo phones, but it's actually not the real name for them.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be you. Events, gatherings, parties everywhere. They're forgetting like the most important one.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you see a megaphone not at a protest?
A lot of the time you see these sorry ass ones, like these are nasty, these are because you can like they're really quiet and they're really muffly, so they're really hard to hear, and it's like a shame because like people have obviously gone out and brought a megaphone to a protest. They obviously intend to bloody use it, and then they're getting sold this fucking kind of sludge because that's all they can afford or they're struggling to afford. And yeah, I'm in one of those situations where I'm like, fuck it. Like, I want something that like is clear, is loud, is gonna bring some noise. So at some point when I can like swallow very, very loud and press checkout, I'm gonna buy that. Um, but yeah. Um, I kind of just noticed how fucking probably should have signed out. Shit.
I don't know. I don't really have anything left to say. So I think it's probably safe to wrap this up. But yeah, it was nice seeing everybody tonight. I'm glad Chase showed up. I'm glad you showed up. Um, hopefully next week we'll be a little more prepared. Yeah, that's really all I got. Join us on Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, what's it? It was good to get to speak about current events, especially given that like fucking we're in that situation where fucking both my country and your country are beating everyone's brains in with election bollocks at the moment. We've all just given up on it. Everyone's just kind of dead now, nailed. Everyone thinks Rishi Sunak's a cunt. But fucking it's in those sort of times where shit like that happens, these two countries have a tact of making their elections everyone else's problems. It seems like it's more about what happens around the world with these elections than it is about what happens within our own countries.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. See what else is there. If we are gonna start doing the TikTok thing more, obviously we're gonna need more followers on the For We Are Many podcast TikTok. That is at For We Are Many podcast. We are also on Facebook, Instagram. Obviously, I just said TikTok, Twitch. I'm missing something, right? YouTube. That's what I'm missing. And if you like what we're doing and you want to support, well, I guess us in general, but if you want to help us pay the bills, so to speak, then patreon.com/for we are many. And also keep an eye out, probably in July sometime, for the next round of classes for the UPM. More info on that when it's all ironed out, but yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, no. Prospects for struggle will be great so long as we get out there and make it. So, it takes a hands-on approach to changing the situation. But right now, oh shit! Like if we don't change stuff, we fucked. Like
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
but it's not a hopeless situation. It just could be. Like we can't sit on our laurels and claim some mathematical superiority to our victory, so everything will be okay in the end. But we also can't get hopeless and drawn in of like the destitutional state that we do exist in right now. Like fuck, I can't like uh you know there's a genocide every corner you look, and that's that it's normal that there's a lot of genocides going on around the world. Not so many that are so brutal. Like, because Palestine isn't the only genocide right now that's going on like Palestine. It's just the worst. The Sudan and all that lot as well are like untalked about. And there's a lot of other places around the world that are going through extreme genocides right now. There's the crisis in Haiti that's been going on for the last 10 years as well. That because it's not as brutally militant, although the democratic crisis that they're in now because of it has gotten quite brutally militant. It's been sort of offhanded and not treated as extreme as like some of the other situations. But what the Clintons have been doing in Haiti is very much genocide.
Right.
Oh, but that's the Democrats. It's not genocide. Sorry, I mean being mean to the livelihood of people. And how does that Star Trek saying go? War is peace.
Pretty sure it's live long and prosper, but you know.
Oh my God, that's gonna be one of my best jokes. Oh God, I'm gonna have pissed off both the people that really like fucking Star Trek and the people who really like, I can't even remember his name, and I don't want the dignity of having to, or the lack of dignity, I should say. Like, it doesn't deserve it. Fuck. Mr. 1984, I'm sure that's his name. Yeah, but we got a long haul ahead, but goddamn, if we haul hard and heavy, we can get through it.
Hell yeah. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna roll the beautiful outro footage here in just a second. This is such a pain in the ass doing it through Zoom. Haha. Almost there.
Corporate crime.